I went to a school camp when I was 10 years old. I thought this camp was going to be amazing, despite all the bullies that came along with. They wouldn't be ruining my weekend. I had far too much to look forward to. Learning about Indians, learning how to start a fire from 2 sticks, hanging out with friends, and my favorite part, the food. However, the other kids weren't as excited as I was. We had 3 days of camp, the middle day being the one where we spend the whole time there. It was 2006 in early June, and that middle day was the 6th. We were camping on 666 Day. Because of this, the other kids kept freaking out and worrying about how they thought tomorrow would be the end of the world or something. I don't mean to seem tough guy-ish, but I'm a Christian, and I knew that God would protect us, so I stayed calm and tried to calm the others as well. I supposed that some kids were genuinely frightened, and a few others were just playing along. I didn't actually think anything would happen. Tomorrow would just be a normal day. I'll admit, I got a little nervous, so I drew pictures of the cross with Bible verses and placed them all over the cabin. The other girls scolded me for doing so, saying that it would taunt to something horrible which would then go after us. I forget if they removed my pictures or not, but as I went to bed that night, I said a quick prayer and fell right asleep. During the night, something knocked on the door. Everyone woke up, but we were all too scared to see who it was, so we went back to sleep. In the morning, everyone was a bit calmer, seeing that we were all still alive. When the knock on the door from last night was brought up in conversation, I stated that it was probably just the boys who pulled an old ding-dong ditch break. We encountered them about this at breakfast, but they denied it. I didn't believe them, but some of my friends sure did. Trying to get everyone's minds off of the date, our teacher announced that after breakfast we'd have a bit of free time and then we had to meet by the mess hall to learn about Indians. My one friend had brought her bouncy ball collection and threw them all around in the empty counselor's room. The rest of us stayed in the main part of the cabin where we had slept. Suddenly, the door to the counselor's room shut closed. It made a loud sound and she was screaming in there. We immediately got up and tried to help her out, but the door wouldn't open. She started screaming about a clown. Although it was extremely ridiculous, she was freaking out in there and we had to get her out. One of the other girls and I did what we saw on TV and attempted to break down the door by tackling into it with our shoulders. Needless to say, for 2 10-year-old girls, it wasn't the best idea. However, after we stepped back and rubbed our aching shoulders, the door slightly opened. My friend ran out, leaving her collection back in the room. She was shaking, obviously traumatized by something. We all held her and asked her what she was screaming about. She pointed to the window in the counselor's room. I didn't know why there would be a window, because there was only a brick wall standing a few inches away from the cabin. 2 of my friends stayed with the one who was still crying, and the last held the door in case it would close as I walked into the room. I was pretty scared, but they were even more scared. I looked out the window and saw nothing but the brick wall. However, I turned my head to the left and saw a random clock with a horrifying clown decoration adorning it. It wasn't working, and 666 was spray painted over it. I didn't know what to think of this, but it was then that I realized that the door earlier had closed on its own. There was no breeze, no one was there to push it closed, and we were the only ones in the cabin. We decided to take her to the treehouse. Now, we weren't actually allowed in this treehouse, but we snuck up there yesterday and it was her favorite place in the whole campsite. We sat up there for a while and talked about happier things. I stood up and looked over at the mess hall to see if the events had started yet. We still had some time. Something shiny shined before my eyes, and I squinted. I turned in the direction of the object and saw a butcher knife cut deep into a thick branch on the tree. This, out of everything that's happened so far, scared me the most. I didn't want to worry my friends or look into this 666 mumbo-jumbo, so I rejoined their conversation about happier things. The rest of the day was normal. We went to our events, had more free time, and had a wonderful dinner. Not much happened. However, we were the only ones who experienced these things. The boys didn't get anything, and the other girls, outside of my circle of friends, only experienced the knock on the door in the night. And out of my friends, I was the only one who saw the knife in the tree. I don't know what to make of all this, or what to think of it at all, but sometimes it makes me wonder. I was the only one who was confident that today would be alright. Although my friend, the one who got locked in the room, was also a Christian, I was the only one who prayed over the day and everything in general, and I was the only one to put up pictures of the cross. So it makes me wonder if something was trying to get my faith to waver.